Hey guys, it's DBWhatIfs. Back again with part 6 of What If Goku Always Wore Weighted Clothing. In the last part, we saw the group take on the Ox King, and Goku was able to show off how strong he truly is against such a powerful individual. Luckily for them, the Ox King was friend not foe. Goku was tasked to take Chi-Chi to Master Roshi's to retrieve the Bancho fan. Now, on to the what if. Goku and Chi-Chi finally make their way to Master Roshi's island. They see Master Roshi and Turtle below. Once they make landfall, Goku says, "Hey, Master Roshi." Master Roshi looks Goku and Chi-Chi over and says, "Why, hello, Goku. Say, I thought your friend there was, taller and more appealing." Goku says, "Oh, you must be talking about Bulma. This is Chi-Chi. Her father is the Ox King." Master Roshi looks at Chi-Chi fondly before saying, "Ah yes, he was my second pupil. How nostalgic." Goku then chimed in with, "And my grandpa was your first, right?" Roshi looked at Goku dazed for a moment before saying, "Oh, you're Gohan's boy, eh? Haha. That makes a lot of sense. I remember him telling me about a boy with a tail." Goku laughs and says, "Oh yeah? He also made me these new weighted bands to carry around." Master Roshi smiles and says, "You like weight training, huh? You ought to come train with me. I will take you on as a pupil if your grandpa is okay with it." Goku's eyes lit up as he said, "Really? Sure, that sounds like fun, but Grandpa Gohan died a long time ago." Master Roshi stammers and says, "He did. Oh, I'm very sorry for your loss." Goku then says, "Thank you. But for right now, Chi-Chi and I were actually sent here by the Ox King to retrieve the Bancho fan." Master Roshi scratches his beard for a moment before saying, "Ah yes, the Bancho fan. Well, in exchange, do you think you could get your tall friend to go on a walk with me?" Goku blinks confused and repeats, "A walk?" Master Roshi nods his head and Goku says, "Sure, that should not be an issue." Master Roshi cheers and says, "Wahoo! Now, what did I do with it?" The turtle spoke up and said, "Master, you used it as a coaster and made it sticky. Then you just threw it out." Roshi grimaces and says, "Ah, you're right. Tell you what, I have something better than the fan." Chi-Chi says, "How do we even know that he's able to help us, Goku?" Goku laughs and says, "I trust that he can because he said he could." Chi-Chi says, "Wow, Goku, you're very trusting." Master Roshi then says, "I can't ride on that dang old cloud, so come to me." Flying Gamera. A spinning shell comes flying from the sky and lands in front of Master Roshi. Master Roshi then says, "Lead the way. I'll follow you there." Once there, Goku and Chi-Chi land, and Goku says, "So, the Bancho fan has been destroyed." The Ox King says, "Oh no, what are we going to do?" Goku shakes his head and says, "Master Roshi said he has something better." Here he comes now. Master Roshi jumps down from the flying Gamera and lands before the group. The Ox King runs up to Master Roshi and greets him heartily, saying, "Master Roshi, it's really you. It's been so long." Master Roshi then says, "Now just a minute there. I heard about the things you've been doing up here. Hurting people over some silly treasure. Is that the way that I taught you?" The Ox King embarrassingly speaks up and says, No, Master. I'm sorry. Please forgive me." Master Roshi then says, "We'll see. But first." Master Roshi then makes his way over to Goku and says, "Hey kid, remember our deal, okay?" Goku says, "Oh yeah." Bulma, Master Roshi and Goku meet up behind a destroyed chunk of wall. Bulim then speaks up and asks, "What is this all about?" Master Roshi said, "If I can put out the fire, you have to go on a walk with me around my island." Bulma then crosses her arms and says, "What? No way, old man." Master Roshi laughs and says, "Sorry, but your little friend here already set you up for it." Bulma looks over at Goku clearly displeased, and Goku responds with, "Well, what is the big idea? It's just a walk." Bulma groans and says, "Fine. That's all it will ever be, though." Master Roshi makes Bulma Pinky swear, and they come back. Chi-Chi says, "Look, they're back." The Ox King says, "So can you do it?" Master Roshi laughs and says, "Oh yeah, it's time to cool this mountain down." Master Roshi then gets into position and takes off his shirt, revealing a frail body. The rest of the group look on, filled with uncertainty. Master Roshi then takes a deep breath in and then a deep breath out. Suddenly, his muscles start to grow, and he bulks up until he is extremely muscular. The group watches on in amazement as Master Roshi says, "Ka! May! Ha! May! Ha!" A blue light emits from Master Roshi, blinding everyone. It fires off and puts out the fire. Everyone stands there in shock, and the Ox King speaks up, "Beep! But everything. It's gone." Master Roshi turns around and realizes that the whole castle was wiped away, leaving nothing but rubble. Master Roshi then laughs and says, "Whoops, guess I don't know my own strength." Goku then says, "Can you teach me that technique, Master Roshi?" Master Roshi laughs and says, "It'll take you at least 50 years, kid," Goku quietly repeated in a sad tone. 50 years? Bulma and Oolong went off to look for the Dragon Ball. Goku then cusps his hands together and says, "Ka. May, ha. May, ha." A small tiny blue light emits from his hands and blasts the car that Yamcha had given them, destroying it completely. Goku says, "Whoa, I did it." Master Roshi stared in stunned silence as he says, "That really is Gohan's boy, huh?" Bulma finds the Dragon Ball and comes back and notices the car completely destroyed. Bulma asks, "Hey, who did this?" Goku smiled and said happily, "I did." Bulma then glares at Goku and says, "You dummy." The Ox King then said, "Hey, since you guys brought Master Roshi to us, why don't you just take one of my cars?" Bulma's eyes light up as she says, "Really? Oh, thank you so much." The Ox King flicked a capsule out of his fingers and out popped a hover car. Oolong, Bulma, and Goku all get in the car, but just as they were waving goodbye, Master Roshi says, "Hey, aren't you forgetting something?" Bulma then groans and says, "Oh, right, give me a second." Bulma and Oolong then sneak off behind a destroyed piece of building. And Bulma says, "Oolong, I need you to transform into me and go on this walk with that old man, all right?" Oolong says, "Absolutely not." Bulma glares and says, "I'll say piggy if you don't." Oolong says, all right, all right, all right." Oolong then transforms into an ugly form of Bulma and asks, "How's this?" Bulma gets mad and says, "That looks nothing like me, you moron." Oolong then fixes the transformation and heads over to Master Roshi. Oolong, disguised as Bulma, then said to Master Roshi, "Hey, instead of going on a walk, how about we talk about how incredibly attractive you are?" Master Roshi blushes, then says, "You really think so?" Oolong, disguised as Bulma, says, "Oh yes. Here, this is for you." Oolong, disguised as Bulma, exposed the top half to Master Roshi. Master Roshi then has a nosebleed. Oolong goes back over to Bulma and transforms back to normal. Bulma then punches Oolong over the head and said, "You big dummy, how could you do that?" Back at the car, Goku had been sitting there waiting when Chi-Chi came up to him and asked, "Hey Goku, do you think that you'll ever think about me?" Goku smiles, then says, "Oh yes, of course. Do you think that you'll think about me, Chi-Chi?" Chi-Chi blushes and says, "Oh my gosh." Goku stares at her confused, but Bulma and Oolong get back in the car as they wave their goodbyes to the Ox King, Master Roshi, and Chi-Chi. The gang takes off down the road. Yamcha then says, "Well, I guess it's time for us to follow them, Puar." Bulma, Goku, and Oolong all head on their way to the 7th and final Dragon Ball as Yamcha and Puar follow closely behind. After a long time of traveling, Bulma notices that the gas gauge is almost empty. She says, "I think we need to fill up on gas. There should be a town close by." Eventually, the gang makes it to town. As they were driving through it, a couple of people screamed at the sight of them and ran away. Goku thought that their reactions were strange. As Bulma pulled the car up to a gas station pump, the pump attendant got scared and screamed as well. Goku says, "Hey Bulma, I think these guys are scared of you." Bulma says, "It's not every day that they get to see a beauty like me. Now, I'm going out to look for a new change of clothes and some dino caps." As Bulma continued walking, she noticed that people were in fact actually scared of her. She thought that it was freaky. Back at the car, the guy who filled up their gas said, "Filled to the brim." Oolong said, "Hey, if you don't mind, our friend should be back in a bit with some cash." The man said, "Oh, no, 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 it's on the house, free." Oolong and Goku look bewildered for a moment before sharing a smile. Back over with Bulma, she was at a dino cap store selecting a few dino caps from the anxious-looking employee. She then asks him, "How much?" He says, "No, please, please, it's free. Please take it and go." Bulma says, "Oh wow, thank you," takes the capsules and exits the store. On her way to the next store, she says, "Man, I made out like a bandit." Eventually, she made it to the clothes store. The man there was also frightened and she switched out her bunny costume to something else. Bulma takes off her bunny ears and the frightened man becomes confused, looking at her bunny ears. He then said, "Wait, you're not a part of the rabbit gang?" Bulma looks confused and shakes her head. The man yells, "Get out of my store! Keep the clothes or whatever, but get out!" Bulma said, Okay, fine, geez." Bulma then exits the store, confused. Bulma started making her way back to the car when she noticed that no one was paying attention to her anymore. She said to herself, "Huh, that's odd." Bulma finally makes it back to the car and says, "Hey guys, I got groceries." Goku said, "All right, I hope there's food in those bags. I'm starving." Suddenly, two men wearing rabbit ears came by and kicked over an apple stall, causing a bunch of apples to fall over. One of the men said, Those apples were disgusting. We want our money back." The owner of the apple stall apologizes profusely and says, "I'm sorry, but you got it free." The other rabbit guy spoke up and said, "I don't think you heard him right. He wants his money back, you hear?" Goku then asks, "What's going on?" The two guys with rabbit ears on them notice Bulma, and one of them says, "Wow, have you ever seen such a pretty girl like that?" They make their way over to Bulma, and one of them asks, "Hey, would you like to spend some time with a real man?" Bulma says, "Why? Have you seen any?" One of the rabbit men speaks up and says, "You must be pretty dumb to talk to the rabbits that way." They then point a weapon at Bulma, and Bulma says, "Goku, hurry, before they hurt us. Take care of them." Goku, eating bread, swallows it, then says, "Okay." The two rabbit men start laughing, saying, "He'll take care of us, huh? Haha." Oolong then says, "He's not immune to bullets, Bulma." Suddenly, Goku charges at one of the rabbit men and punches them in the gut, causing them to fall forward unconscious. The other one readies his weapon and prepares to fire, only for Goku to jump over him and knock him unconscious too. The townspeople notice the men unconscious, as they all run over and tie the men up. Goku then says, "I think that takes care of that." Goku, Bulma, and Oolong then head off to get the final Dragon Ball now that the rabbit gang has been taken care of. Yamcha and Puar follow closely as well. Goku, Oolong, and Bulma are driving down the road when a mech suit fires a missile at the group's car, causing the car to explode and sending them flying. The mech suit comes down, goes over to the wreckage and pulls a suitcase containing 5 Dragon Balls out from the wreckage. The mech suit says, "Thanks for the Dragon Balls, see you later." The mech suit then quickly jumps away, leaving Goku, Bulma, and Oolong speechless. Bulma then says, "Wait! Goku, get your cloud and go after him." Goku nods, then says, "Right. Flying Nimbus." Goku then hops onto his flying Nimbus and takes after the mech in the direction it went in. Goku approaches the mech and jumps off of his Nimbus. "Hey, you! Don't you know that it isn't nice to steal stuff?" The mech doesn't respond. Goku approaches closer and taps it with his power pole. The mech falls over. Goku then says, "Yep, he's not alive anymore." Goku then returns and tells Bulma and Oolong, "Oh yeah, that guy's not alive anymore." Bulma then asks, "What about the Dragon Balls?" Goku then says, "Oh no, I didn't see them." Bulma falls to her knees and says, "No, it's all over. The perfect boyfriend. No, they probably have already summoned the dragon already." Goku stares blankly at Bulma before saying, "But I've still got one." Bulma then looks at Goku and begins to laugh. "That's right. Woo, I was worried there for a second. Let's go after them. We can track them with my radar." Oolong then said, "With what?" "Our car's blown to bits." Bulma then said, I still have my dino caps from that bunny town we went to." Bulma then froze and said, "Oh no. Wait, they were in that suitcase with the Dragon Balls." Bulma begins to cry. Just a few hundred feet away, Yamcha and Puar remain hiding. Puar then asks, "Oh no, Yamcha, what should we do?" Yamcha says, "No choice. We have to help them and give them a ride." Puar then says, "You're over your fear of girls, right? You talked to the Ox King's daughter just fine." Yamcha responds, "Not quite. She's a kid. I am scared to talk to women. I still have my fear, but we have no choice." Puar says, "Oh no, Yamcha." Yamcha then drives over to the group and says, "Oh, look who it is." Bulma excitedly exclaims, "Oh, hi, Yamcha." Yamcha then flatly says, "Oh, what? Coincidence. Are you, guys, stuck outside here?" Yamcha then offers them a ride. Oolong, Puar, Yamcha, and Bulma all ride in the car while Goku rides on his flying Nimbus. Eventually, the gang finds a giant castle in the middle of the desert and park the car there. Goku hops off of his Nimbus cloud. Goku then pushes open the door to the castle, and the whole group begins to walk inside. Inside the castle appeared to be a long corridor of some sort. Bats began to fly at them. The gang kept persevering. Suddenly, long pillars of stone start flying out of the walls, trying to pin them to the wall and end their lives. Goku and Yamcha start punching the stone pillars, ensuring the safety of everyone. Bulma clings onto Yamcha and says, "My hero!" Yamcha then screams. The group continues marching down the long corridor when they begin to notice bright pink arrows on the floor, pointing in a certain direction. Oolong asks, "Is it a trap?" Bulma responds saying, "It'd be too obvious if it were." Goku then says, "Let's follow it." The group follows the arrows until Goku says, "Oh, it's a dead end." Realizing that the hallway randomly ends there, a wall falls behind them, trapping them in a room, surrounded by stone walls. Bulma screams and then says, "Oh no, are we stuck?" Puar clings onto Yamcha and says, "Oh no!" Goku and Yamcha instinctively try to punch the walls. Yamcha yells out, "Wolf Fang Fist," while Goku starts punching and kicking at the wall. To no avail, the wall didn't crack or break in the slightest. Suddenly, a television comes on, revealing a short blue man. "Looks like you guys can't destroy my reinforced steel walls, can you?" said the blue man. Bulma asked the man on the TV, "Who are you?" The man then says, "I'm the great and powerful Emperor Pilaf." Bulma says, "You must be the one who stole my Dragon Balls." Pilaf said, "Yes, that is true. But I didn't get all of them now, did I?" Pilaf then pulls a lever in his control room, and a giant claw grabs Bulma from the room and brings her face to face with Shu, Mai, and Pilaf. Bulma, being held up in the air, begins to dangle her legs and say, "Get me out of here, you freak." Pilaf then says, "Heh, tell me where the last Dragon Ball is now." Bulma then flips Pilaf off and says, "Never." Pilaf then says, "You have left me no choice then. It is time for the treatment." Shu and Mai both cower in fear, and Shu says, "No, Emperor, please." Mai chimed in saying, "Have a heart." Bulma began to cower as well. Pilaf then blew a kiss towards Bulma and then said, "There. Now tell me where the Dragon Ball is." Bulma looked confused and said, "That's it? A kiss?" Pilaf nods and says, "Dastardly, isn't it?" Bulma laughs and says, "Wow, that's terrible. You are terrible at this, haha." Pilaf then gets mad and sends Bulma back to the room the others are trapped in. Suddenly, gas filled the room and put them all to sleep. Pilaf came into the room to gloat, only to fall asleep himself. Shu and Mai escort Pilaf to safety before coming back to search for the last Dragon Ball. Mai finds it on Goku and takes it, leaving them. After a little while, Bulma wakes up first. She then notices Goku's pouch that contains his grandpa's 4-star ball is on the ground, tossed aside, completely empty. Bulma yells, "Ah! The Dragon Ball! It's gone! Our last one! Goku! Goku! Wake up! Wake up!" Goku slowly woke up, along with Yamcha, Oolong, and Puar. Bulma then screams again, "Goku! Your Dragon Ball is gone!" Goku yells out, "What? How? I had it hidden." Bulma then began to cry as she yelled out, "What if that weird little troll already used them?" Puar then shouted, "Hey, look!" They left the door open. They group looks at the once-sealed room, with the door open. Goku then asks, "What if it's another trap?" Yamcha then said, "Well, we were already trapped, so what is the point of leaving another trap for us if we're already trapped?" Oolong shakily says, "I suppose that makes sense." The group then heads down the hallway. After a short while, they bump into Pilaf, Shu, and Mai, carrying all 7 Dragon Balls. Bulma asks them quietly, "Did you make a wish yet?" Pilaf shakes his head no, signaling that he hasn't. Goku then yelled out, "Give me back my Dragon Ball." Pilaf, Shu, and Mai run off away from the gang, and the gang follows them. Eventually, the group finds a corridor that splits off into 5 different hallways. The gang picks one hallway when suddenly, a giant metal ball begins chasing them. They all scream as they try to run away from the giant marble. Goku tried punching it, but was immediately knocked back. The group kept running, but then it was a dead end. The ball rolled towards them. They all braced for impact when the ball stopped mere inches before smashing into them. It slowly rolled back, and a wall came back down, sealing them in the same trapped room as before. Bulma said, "No, this is the same room that we were just trapped in." The TV comes on, and Pilaf says, "See you guys at my inauguration. I am going to wish to be the ruler of Earth." The TV then turns off. Bulma then yells out, "There has to be a way out of this tomb." Yamcha quickly runs over to Goku and says, "Hey, use the Kamehameha wave." Goku asked Yamcha, "How do you know about that?" Yamcha then says, "Don't worry about that. Hurry and use it, or that wish is as good as gone." Goku said, "All right." Goku aims at the wall and fires a Kamehameha wave at the wall, creating a small hole. Goku laughs and says, "Whoops, that's too small. I'm sorry, guys." Yamcha smiled and said, "No, it's perfect. Puar, hurry, go out there and save our wish." Puar transforms into a bat and flies through the hole. Bulma then yells out, "You too, Oolong, hurry!" Oolong transforms into a bat as well and flies through the hole. Lightning appears in the sky as the Dragon Balls begin to glow. Pilaf yells out, "Rise, eternal dragon! Grant my wish!" Suddenly, a long green dragon erupts from the Dragon Balls, almost as if out of thin air. The dragon then said, "I am Shenron, the eternal dragon. State your wish." Puar and Oolong hovered in the air in shock as Bulma, Yamcha, and Goku watched through the small hole in the wall. Pilaf started stuttering and stammering, trying to think about how to say his wish since he had never truly thought about wishing for it before. Goku continues firing Kamehamehas at the wall in hopes of breaking out. At the same time, Goku's Kamehameha broke through the wall. Pilaf had said, "I wish for the world." Oolong transforms back to normal and runs over, stepping on Pilaf's head screaming, "The world's most comfortable pair of underwear." Shenron then says, "Your wish has been granted." As he disappears and the Dragon Balls rise up to the air and fire away in all different directions. A pair of underwear falls on Oolong's head as he laughs. Pilaf starts screaming profusely. Goku yelled out, "What happened to Grandpa's ball?" Bulma says, "That's just what happens, kid. After the Dragon Balls are used, they get scattered all over the world." Pilaf then screams out, "Get them! Mai! Shu! Get them!" Goku quietly mumbles, "I'm hungry," as Bulma, Yamcha, Puar, and Oolong start running. Bulma yells out, "Hurry, kid! Get a move on!" The gang begins to run as dogs start chasing after them. These were Pilaf's dogs. Yamcha and Goku started fighting them off, protecting Bulma, Oolong, and Puar. Goku then becomes too hungry and starts to doze off. Shu and Mai jump down from a ledge and aim weapons at Bulma, Oolong, Goku, and Puar, forcing Yamcha to surrender. Pilaf laughs as they have finally been captured for ruining his plans. They are taken to a room with a glass ceiling. A speaker rings out Pilaf's voice overhead. I hope you guys enjoyed postponing my victory, because when that sun comes up, you'll all be cooked. Bulma sits down fearing for her life. Yamcha and Goku begin punching the walls over and over again. Kamehameha after Kamehameha from Goku and repeated wolf fang fists from Yamcha. Even with Goku's bands off, he cannot get out of this room. He still is not strong enough. Goku, Yamcha, Bulma, Puar, and Oolong are trapped in a secure steel room with a glass ceiling. Goku's Kamehameha isn't effective, nor is Yamcha's wolf fang fist. Puar is then seen looking up at the sky. Oolong asks, "Hey Puar, why are you looking up at the moon? Aren't you worried about tomorrow?" Puar responds, "Of course I am, but I can't help but feel relaxed when looking up at the moon. It's so full and soothing." Goku then chimes in and says, "Did you guys know that every full moon, a terrible monster comes out?" Bulma cuts him off and says, "This is no time for jokes or stories, kid." Goku shakes his head and says, No, it's true. That big monster was the one who ended my grandpa's life." Yamcha yelled out in surprise, "Grandpa Gohan? The supreme martial arts master? That must be one big terrible monster." Goku nodded, then said, "Oh yeah, it destroyed our house and took down our trees." Oolong then asked, "What did it look like, Goku?" Goku scratched his head and said, "I don't know. I slept through the whole thing." Oolong asked, "How did you sleep through that with a giant monster destroying everything?" Goku shrugs, then says, "The last thing I remember is my grandpa telling me about the full moon and how I should never ever look at it." The group tenses up. The group then inched away from Goku slowly. Bulma asked, "Goku, did you happen to look up at the full moon the night your grandfather passed?" Goku stared at the group with a blank expression and said, "Yeah, I think so. Why?" The group then believed that Goku was the monster from the story, but found it too risky to have Goku look at the moon to verify their suspicions. Bulma warned Goku, "Okay, whatever you do, don't look up at the full moon right above you." Goku then instinctively looked up at the full moon above him. The group tensed up once more, and after a moment, Goku turns back to face them and says, "What's the big deal? It's just the moon." The group takes a deep breath, realizing that it was just in fact a story. Suddenly, Goku's body tenses up, starts to convulse slightly. The group panics. Bulma said, "Knock it off, Goku. This isn't funny." Suddenly, Goku started to grow, and hair grew on his arms until suddenly, he had transformed into a giant monkey. His sheer size alone had cracked the glass ceiling that was containing them. Yamcha yelled out, "We have to get out of here." Yamcha, Bulma, Oolong, and Puar ran away from the room and Goku. Goku's power level was about 50 by the time they got locked into the room, making his power level 500 when in his grade 8 form, making him the strongest character in the original Dragon Ball series already. Goku, in his grade 8 form, began destroying Pilaf's castle. Pilaf, Shu, and Mai's sleeping area was exposed by Goku rampaging around. They screamed as Goku started smashing their castle to bits, sending them flying into rubble. Bulma twisted her ankle and said, "Ow, Yamcha, help me, please." Yamcha immediately blushed and said, "I don't know, I can't." Oolong spoke up and said, "You have to. Please." Puar chimed in and said, "You can do it, Yamcha." Goku then threw a boulder towards the group as Yamcha picked them all up and began running like his life quite literally depended on it. He made it a safe distance away and sat them down. Bulma blushed and said, "Thank you for being my knight in shining armor." Yamcha blushed back. Meanwhile, the Pilaf gang had gotten away in their plane. Pilaf looked down at his currently being destroyed castle and said, "Turn this plane around. I can't bear to see my castle getting destroyed by some giant stupid monkey." The plane got turned around and Pilaf yelled, "Fire!" The plane began firing bullets at Goku, who wasn't fazed in the slightest by the bullets and continued rampaging around the castle. Pilaf then said, "Use our secret weapon, now." The plane opened a hatch on the bottom to reveal a nuke-like missile. The missile fired at Goku, and the missile got a reaction from Goku, who appeared to become irritated by the missile, but he remained standing. Goku then swatted the plane out of the sky, breaking a wing and causing the plane to spiral out of control off into the distance. Goku then began charging towards Bulma, Yamcha, Puar, and Oolong. Yamcha said, "We can't outrun him. We have to think of a way to deal with him." Puar then said, "Yamcha, his tail, remember?" Yamcha said, "You're right, Puar." Yamcha then ran up to Goku's tail and attempted to slash at it with his sword, causing it to break. Yamcha then grabbed onto his tail hoping to weaken Goku. It seemed to be ineffective. Puar and Oolong then jumped on as well. Goku stiffened and froze completely. Yamcha yelled out, "Now's your chance, Puar! Transform into a pair of scissors and cut Goku's tail off." Puar nodded and said, "Right." Puar then transformed into a pair of scissors and cut off Goku's tail. Goku stiffened as he changed back into Goku without clothes. After a while, the sun began to rise. The group stood around Goku as he slept, as they talked about Goku and his possible origins while Puar was fast asleep. Oolong speculated that he was an alien. Suddenly, Goku begins to wake up. Goku, naked, stands up and asks, "Hey, where are my clothes?" Bulma asked, "You don't remember anything, do you, kid?" Goku shakes his head no, signaling that he does not remember. Bulma then says, "Oolong, give him some clothes to wear." Oolong says, "Not my most comfortable pair of underwear made from the best fabrics in the world." Bulma said, "Oolong." Oolong said, "Fine, fine. He could have my trousers." Oolong gives Goku his overalls. Goku then fell over, realizing that he cannot balance for some reason. Goku says, "Hey, what's going on?" Yamcha then said, "You probably just need to learn how to balance yourself without your tail." Goku asks, "My tail?" "Ah, where did it go? It just vanished." "Freaky, that's weird. How did it happen?" "I guess I'll just wait for it to grow back." The group sighed in exhaustion. Goku then said, "Oh, my power pole, and my weighted bands. Hold on, guys. I have to go find them." Goku runs off in the direction of the destroyed castle, repeatedly falling due to his missing tail. Oolong then asks, "What do we do now?" "We can't hunt for the Dragon Ball for the whole year," Bulma quietly said. "That makes sense, I suppose." Yamcha then wakes up Puar from his nap. Bulma said to herself, "Guess I'll have to wait a year for my perfect boyfriend." As Yamcha was saying to himself, "Guess I have to be nervous around girls for one more year. Man, what I would give to have a girlfriend." They look at one another and realize that their goals were highly similar. Goku finally returned with his power pole in hand and his bands on his arms and legs, only to see Bulma and Yamcha looking rather jubilant. Bulma then said, "Yamcha and I think we want to spend a little more time together, so we're both moving back to the city." Goku then said, "I think I want to go train some with Master Roshi like my grandpa did, so I can be big and strong." Bulma said, "But Goku, you're already super strong." Goku shook his head and said, "But something big came across and took down this whole castle. If something can do that, they must be stronger than me." Oolong then spoke up and said, "What are you talking about, Goku? You're the one?" Puar and Bulma quickly shushed him. Goku stared blankly at him. Bulma then said, "What about you, Oolong? Where are you going to go?" Oolong then said, "Well, I don't know. Do I look like a big city pig to you?" Bulma then said, "Are you kidding? You'd be the talk of the town." Oolong smiled and said, "Oh well, I suppose I'll go." Goku then says, "I know. In a year's time, we'll go look for the Dragon Balls again." Yamcha and Bulma then begin to laugh. Bulma then said, "We don't need Dragon Balls anymore, Goku." Goku then asked Bulma, "How would I ever be able to find my grandpa's ball if you're not there with your radar, Bulma?" Bulma then smiled and handed Goku the radar as a going-away present. Yamcha then threw a dino capsule at the ground, and out popped a small plane. Yamcha extended his hand out for Goku to shake, and Goku shook his hand in return. Goku then shouted out, "Flying Nimbus!" Goku then hops on his flying Nimbus, and Bulma and the others get on their plane. Goku is off to Master Roshi's, and the others are off to Bulma's city. What if, with Goku riding on his flying Nimbus, he stops by his house to change his clothes to his regular blue uniform? Goku then got back on his flying Nimbus and heads straight for Master Roshi's house. Goku lands and says, "Where is Master Roshi?" Goku passed by Master Roshi's window when he heard a workout video being played and Master Roshi sitting inches from the TV. Goku climbed inside the house and called out to Master Roshi. "Master Roshi!" Master Roshi continued watching the TV, mumbling to himself. Goku called out again, "Hey, Master Roshi!" Once more, Master Roshi was entranced by the television. Goku tried once again, "Hey, Master Roshi!" Master Roshi was stunned and then realized Goku was here. Master Roshi said, "Oh, it's you. Don't bother me. I'm doing my morning workout." Goku then said, "But Master Roshi, I'm hungry." Master Roshi pointed towards the kitchen and said, "Refrigerator's in there." Goku was confused, but wandered into the kitchen and opened Master Roshi's refrigerator. Goku then said to himself, "Whoa, it's like winter in here." Goku began eating everything in the entire fridge until nothing remained. Master Roshi walked into the kitchen and saw Goku sitting by his now empty fridge. Master Roshi asked, "Where did you put all my food?" Goku just began laughing. Master Roshi then asked, "Anyway, why are you here?" Goku responds by saying, "Well, we're done hunting Dragon Balls for now, and you said that you'd teach me martial arts. So here I am," Master Roshi says stalely. "Oh yeah? How pleasant." Master Roshi walked outside and asked, "Did you bring that girl?" Goku shakes his head and says, "Nah, she went home with her friends." Master Roshi hangs his head, then says, "Dang." Master Roshi sits down at his table, then says, "Well, kid, you have to bring me a young gal before I can start training you." Goku looks at Master Roshi quizzically and asks, "What's a gal?" Master Roshi passionately says, "A fun girl I can go on a date with." Goku agrees and hops on his flying Nimbus. Goku brings girl after girl to Roshi, but none of them were really up to his standard. They were either old, ugly, fat, or a mermaid. Eventually, Goku noticed something was coming from the ocean's horizon. A short, bald kid wearing a yellow jai on a boat was paddling close to shore. Once close, he jumped off of his boat and landed headfirst into the sand of Master Roshi's island. Master Roshi asked, "Who are you?" "Goku." "Help him." Goku then pulled on the boy's legs and lifted him out of the sand. He pats the sand off of his clothes and then walks over to Master Roshi asking, "You're the great Master Roshi, right? My own name is Krillin, and I have traveled a long way to train with you." Master Roshi dismissively said, "Sorry, I don't train every boy that winds up on my doorstep." Krillin then handed an inappropriate magazine. Master Roshi began excitedly reading the magazines. Krillin asks Goku, "So what are you?" "His pupil?" Goku happily says, "Yeah, I'm Goku." Krillin looks Goku over and thinks that Goku looks weak. Master Roshi then says, "Okay, kid, I decided to take you on as my student, but only if you and Goku here find me a woman." Krillin agreed, and Master Roshi said, "Jump on that Nimbus cloud and find me a date." Krillin looks over at the cloud speculatively and shrugs. Krillin then tries to jump on the Nimbus but falls right through it. Krillin asks, "Hey, what's the deal with this thing?" Master Roshi chimes in with a, "The flying Nimbus only allows those pure of heart to ride, so that means that you're hiding something from us." Krillin, scared, admits to having some magazines that I'm not supposed to read. Master Roshi confiscates the magazines and sends the boys on their way. Krillin holds on to Goku as the Nimbus cloud takes off. Goku and Krillin keep on the lookout for a pretty girl from Master Roshi. Suddenly, Goku heard the scream of a girl. As Krillin and Goku look down, they see a blue-haired girl that looks terrified. Across from the blue-haired girl were two cops holding weapons pointed at her. Goku jumped off his cloud with Krillin in tow. Goku landed, and Krillin ran away to hide. Goku then charged the cops and quickly knocked them unconscious. Goku stood surprised and said, "That wasn't very hard." The blue-haired girl suddenly spoke up and said, "Thank you very much, I really owe you guys." Krillin came out of hiding and said, "Oh, it was nothing for us both." Goku then said, "Krillin, do you think Master Roshi would be happy with her?" Krillin looked the girl up and down and nodded. The girl, now known as Launch, got on the cloud with Goku, and Krillin hugged onto Goku again. They took back off to Master Roshi's island. They land at Master Roshi's island and Goku yells out, "Master Roshi!" There was no response. Goku said quietly, I wonder where Master Roshi is." Krillin spoke up and said, "It's possible that he's in the bathroom, Goku." Goku ran inside to hurry Master Roshi up. Krillin then asked Launch, "So why were those fake cops after you?" Launch then said, "Oh no, those were real cops." Krillin looked startled to hear that, and became even more confused. Krillin then asked, "Well, what did they want from you?" Launch then showed a ton of cash that she had in a duffel bag she had been carrying, and said, "I think it has something to do with all of this money that I may have stolen from a train, I think." Krillin laughed and said, "You expect me to believe that you're a train robber? Haha, real funny." Launch then asked, "You never told me what I am here, though, Krillin." Krillin then said, "Oh yeah, Master Roshi is a lonely old man, so he just needs a woman around that'll stroke his ego, essentially." Meanwhile, Master Roshi had come out of the bathroom and saw Launch from the window. Clearly excited, Master Roshi makes his way outside to introduce himself. Master Roshi said, "Hey!" Launch then bowed and said, "Nice to meet you, sir. Your grandsons here helped me." Master Roshi looked over at Krillin and Goku and said, "Oh, did you now?" Krillin and Goku said, "Yeah." Master Roshi laughed, then said, "Well, they're not actually my grandsons." Launch looked at Roshi confused. Master Roshi continued, "They're my younger brothers." Clearly not believing him, Launch laughed. Master Roshi laughed as well and said, "Worth a try, haha." Master Roshi then properly introduced himself. Master Roshi then said to Launch, "Why don't you train martial arts with us?" Launch said, "Oh, I don't know." Krillin then said, "Oh, trust me. Getting martial arts lessons from Master Roshi is a big deal. I wouldn't pass up on this opportunity." Launch then agreed. Master Roshi then gave Krillin, Goku, Launch, and himself a uniform to wear. Once everyone had switched clothes, Launch said, "This looks like undergarments." Master Roshi said, "This is, turtle hermit fighting armor." Launch said, "It doesn't seem to protect much." Master Roshi began gawking. Suddenly, a bee flew by and brushed against Launch's nose, causing her to sneeze. Once she had sneezed, her hair had changed color to blonde. The boys looked at her confused. Launch, now blonde, noticed the clothes she was wearing and said, "Okay, boys, whose idea was this?" Launch then pulled out a weapon and said, "I'm about to teach you all a lesson you soon won't forget," and started firing at them. Fortunately for the boys, Launch's hair began to tickle Launch's nose, causing her to sneeze and revert back to normal. The boys had taken some damage from the weapon, but were ultimately all right. Launch then apologized profusely and explained further that when she sneezes, an aggressive version of her comes out and causes all sorts of problems. They all switch out of the undergarments and back to their usual uniforms. Master Roshi then said, "Training begins tomorrow. For now, let's get some rest." Everyone slept, and when the day began, Master Roshi put his house in a dino cap and took everyone to a more populated island for a better area for training. Once there, Launch went to go cook lunch, and Master Roshi brought the boys over to an open field. Master Roshi then said, "Okay, now I'm going to test your guys' speed. Run from here to that tree, that's about 300 feet. Krillin volunteered to go first. Master Roshi called out, "Ready, set, go!" Krillin then began to run as fast as he could. Master Roshi then said, My, you made it in 10.4 seconds. That's pretty darn good." Krillin began to brag. I usually can get like a 10.1, but I suppose the wind was against me. Goku then called out and said, "Yoo-hoo, Master Roshi, ready for me now?" Master Roshi then said, "Ready, set, go." Goku began running. Once Goku got to the tree, Master Roshi said, 10 seconds even. Looks like he got you Krillin." Krillin looked shocked and Goku said, "Hey, can I try it again with a different set of shoes?" Krillin then spoke up and said, "You already beat me, what does it matter? My shoes aren't necessarily meant for running either." Goku laughed and then said, "But your shoes aren't all torn up." Haha. Goku showed his shoes, and there were holes in the front of them. Goku also said, "I'd also love to remove my weighted bands if that's all right too." Master Roshi looked at Goku and said, "You're still wearing those bands? This whole time? I forgot all about those." Krillin then said, "He's doing weight training already?" Master Roshi nodded and said, "Okay, kid, give it a try again." Goku took off his weighted bands and switched his shoes. This time, Goku ran. Master Roshi and Krillin froze. Krillin asked, What was his time?" Master Roshi said with a flat tone. 4.6 seconds. Krillin's jaw dropped as Master Roshi slapped his cheeks and said, "You two are at the top of your league, but it's, well, not good enough." Goku and Krillin looked at each other confused as Master Roshi said, "Now, watch a real professional run. Here, Krillin, time me." Krillin yelled out, "Ready, set, go." Master Roshi ran, and Master Roshi was quite literally giving it his all. Master Roshi was sweating slightly as he asked for his time. Krillin stuttered out, "Well, 4.2 seconds. Master Roshi thought to himself, "Man, just barely better than the kid. That's my everything too. I'll have to train myself again just to keep up." Master Roshi then explained to them how to surpass their limits, and how even when it seems you have hit a wall, keep pushing. You can surpass even that wall. The sun began setting when Master Roshi said, "You boys have one last thing to do before today is over." Master Roshi then picked up a rock and drew a symbol on it and showed it to Krillin and Goku. Then said, "See this stone? Got it? Memorized it?" Goku said, "What are you going to do with it? Eat it?" Master Roshi said, "No." Master Roshi then threw the stone off the cliff and into a dense forest. Krillin then asked, "Your test is to throw stones?" Master Roshi then said, "No, Krillin. Your test isn't to throw stones. Your test is to find mine." The boys looked at Master Roshi in shock, then said, "What?" in unison. Master Roshi nodded, then said, "The one who finds the stone gets to keep it and eat dinner. The one who doesn't goes without food tonight. You have 30 minutes to find it. Good luck." The boys scrambled down the mountain going off of the drive to ensure they could eat. Once at the cliff, Krillin freezes and says, "Dang, we're going to have to find a way down." Goku then looks at Krillin and jumps off the cliff himself without hesitation. Krillin asked Goku, "Are you crazy?" Goku then lands on the ground and takes off looking for the stone, leaving Krillin still atop the cliff. While Goku was out looking for the stone that Master Roshi had thrown, Krillin had an idea to pick up a random rock and head over to a house nearby. Krillin knocked on the door and asked to use a marker. Krillin then forged the symbol that Master Roshi drew onto his fake rock. Krillin then returned back to Master Roshi's house and said, "It was very hard to find, but here it is." Master Roshi carefully inspected the rock and then threw it at Krillin, saying, "That's not my handwriting, you dolt." Krillin then ran back out after apologizing profusely. Meanwhile, Goku was sniffing around saying, "Smells like sweat and turtle shell. I must be getting closer." Goku then found the stone and yelled out, "Wahoo! Yeah, I found it!" Goku proudly held the rock close to his chest, saying to himself, "Nice, now I can have my supper." Krillin then ran up to Goku and asked, "How in the world did you find that, Goku?" Goku said, "Well, it smelled like Master Roshi." Krillin then asked, "What are you, a dog?" "Wait, how do you know that it's the right one?" Goku then asks, "Right one? What do you mean?" Krillin says, "Well, think about it. It could be someone else trying to trick you. Let me see it real quick. Goku then hands over the stone. Krillin looks at it for a short moment before running away laughing. Goku gives chase after him, yelling out, "Hey, you're cheating!" Krillin apologized, then said, "I'm sorry, Goku, but I stole it fair and square." Goku then easily caught up to Krillin, and Krillin, having no other choice, said, "Let's fight for it." Goku gritted his teeth and said, "I'd be happy to, as long as you don't cheat." Krillin clenches his teeth as they begin to fight. Krillin threw a punch, but Goku was easily able to dodge it. Goku throws a punch at Krillin's head, easily making contact, sending Krillin backwards. Krillin fell down, and Goku pinned Krillin to the ground, asking, "Had enough?" Krillin then said, "Yes, yes, fine, here." Krillin then threw the stone over the cliff once more. Goku gave chase for it, and Krillin then pulled out the real stone. Krillin had thrown the fake stone over the cliff and returned home to claim his prize. Krillin got to eat dinner that night with Master Roshi and Launch, while Goku had to go hungry. Unfortunately for Krillin and Master Roshi, Launch had cooked pufferfish, which is poisonous to humans. They of course survived, but it was a very rough night for their stomachs. After they start feeling better, Goku, Krillin, and Master Roshi wake up before the sun has fully started to rise. Master Roshi then tells the boys, "Okay, we will warm up with a brief run." Master Roshi brings the boys to a stop as Master Roshi walks up to a house and sees a goat man. Master Roshi said, "Hey, remember me?" "We spoke on the phone yesterday." The goat man says, "Oh yes, here is the map of the route that I usually take." Goku and Krillin look at each other confused before noticing milk jugs in a small container. Master Roshi then says, "All right, boys, each of you will carry one of these and deliver milk across the countryside." Krillin quizzically asks, "We're delivering milk?" Master Roshi then said, "Quick, boys, grab a crate." Krillin and Goku each picked one up and asked, "But Master Roshi, how can delivering milk be training?" Master Roshi then looks over the map and says, "Okay, why don't we skip all the way during our first 3 miles of the trip?" Krillin said, "3 miles? Are you serious?" Goku quietly said to himself, "Skip?" Master Roshi said, "Of course I'm serious, now get a move on." The boys began skipping down the road while carrying milk. After a couple of miles, Goku was marching along with no problems while Krillin was starting to be out of breath and falling slightly behind. Goku and Krillin then started taking out the old milk bottles and putting new cold ones in their place. Master Roshi then said, "Okay, for the next 2 miles, we'll zigzag through these trees." Goku asks, "Zigzag?" Master Roshi then yells out, "Go!" The boys scramble to start, but start going through the trees, left to right to left to right to left. Krillin realized that he was falling behind and decided to just go straight instead of zigzagging. Master Roshi stopped when he realized Krillin was trying to take shortcuts. Master Roshi waited for Krillin to pass before yelling out, "Krillin!" Krillin immediately apologized and said, "Sorry, sir, I'll start over," as he went back to the beginning. Eventually, they reached a mountain and Master Roshi said, "Okay, boys, now we can take a break from running. We'll start climbing a few stairs." Krillin breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Finally, I can catch my breath." Krillin looks up and sees 1,000 steps. Krillin yelled out, "Are you kidding me?" Master Roshi briskly continues his pace up the steps as Goku follows closely behind, not even breaking a sweat. Krillin, on the other hand, begins breathing heavily. Goku caught up to Master Roshi and said, "Hey, Master Roshi, I'm bored of climbing stairs. Can I just take the Nimbus up there instead?" Master Roshi then said, "Would that challenge your abilities at all?" Goku tilts his head to the side and says, "I guess not." Master Roshi then said, "You know, your Grandpa Gohan and the Ox King both delivered milk up this same mountain." Goku's eyes lit up as he said, "My grandpa did this training too?" Master Roshi nods and says, "Yep." And not once did they complain. Goku smiled, then said, "Okay. Sounds good. I'll meet you up at the top, Master." Goku then makes his way up the stairs reinvigorated. Krillin finally made it to Master Roshi, completely out of breath. Master Roshi then said, "Congrats. You're halfway there. Krillin yelled out, "What? Only halfway?" Master Roshi then says, "Quick, quick," before the milk curdles. Finally, they make it to the top. Goku seemed a little tired, and Krillin was absolutely exhausted. The man who they had last delivered milk to had thanked them and said, "Would you guys like a glass of milk?" Goku then said, "Yes, please, me." Master Roshi then smacked Goku over the head with his cane and said, "You can't just give milk, then take it back." The man then spoke fondly with Master Roshi, saying, "Ah, these are your new trainees, huh? How are they?" Master Roshi chuckles and says, "Still too early to tell, but hopefully I can get them ready for the World Martial Arts Tournament." Krillin yells out, "The World Martial Arts Tournament?" Goku turns to face Krillin and asks, "What is that?" Krillin then asked Goku, "Are you saying that you have never heard of it?" Goku nods, and Krillin excitedly says, "That's where all the world's strongest fighters meet up in one place and compete with one another to see who is the absolute best." Goku says, "The absolute best?" "That's great." Krillin then says, "They only hold this tournament once every 5 years." Krillin then explains further and says, "Only 8 finalists can compete in the actual tournament." Goku says, "That sounds like fun." Krillin then asks Master Roshi, "Can we really compete in the tournament?" Master Roshi nods and says, "If you train diligently." The man that they delivered milk to spoke up and said, "Sounds like a good incentive." The boys excitedly share a look before Master Roshi then says, "But you shouldn't go into the tournament with hopes of winning. There will always be someone stronger." Goku and Krillin then realize they now have to return the milk cartridge back where it came from, as Krillin said, I thought we were done." Master Roshi said, "Nonsense, let's get going." They then went down the steps and walked on a log that was over a canyon. Then they walked through a desert, and then they walked through a coursing river right next to a waterfall. After that, they ran through a forest trying to escape from a dinosaur chasing after them. They finally made it back and returned the milk baskets and empty containers to the milkman. Krillin laid on the ground exhausted back at Master Roshi's house. Goku was breathing heavily as well, but not as tired as Krillin. Master Roshi then said, "You will be delivering milk like this for the next 8 months. This concludes the early morning training. Now let's start the mid-morning training." Goku asks, "There's more?" Krillin yelled out, "You're kidding." Master Roshi says, "Nonsense, let's get a move on." And that's where we'll be ending it for right now. Goku is quite used to vigorous exercise thanks to his weighted bands, and even while doing this training with the weighted bands on, he still has some stamina left. He is easily a lot stronger than Krillin. Master Roshi's morning training is quite insane, but imagine how strong Goku is going to be, especially if Goku wears Master Roshi's weighted turtle shell soon. That'll be extra weight on top of the extra weight, and hopefully it'll incentivize Krillin to work harder to beat Goku. Meaning, Krillin may also be stronger as well. We know Master Roshi is going to want to train harder too. Next time, we'll hopefully finish their training and move on to the World Martial Arts Tournament. But for now, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear what you guys think so far, and thanks again for 10 parts. Until next time, later.